The San Francisco 49ers OTAs are officially over. This video, I'm going to go over the good and the bad from content creators all over YouTube. Larry Krueger, David Lombardi, Grant Cohn, Matt Miyoko, and Guy Haberman. I took information from all their videos of players they talked about, of the good and the bad of every player. The rules here are, if one person said one bad thing, but the rest didn't say anything about it, then they do not qualify for this list. I wanted consistency out of this. So that way you get a good idea of who actually performed and what, is there actually consensus this person performed and was actually good there. So I got a good and a bad list here as well. Then I also got some headlines from Matt Miyoko, who got some nice cliff notes from players that I thought was interesting news, interesting things to hear for 49ers fans. I weeded out the stuff that's like, okay, who cares about that kind of stuff? That players, never felt more better. Like it feels amazing. Like we know that already, right? There's just some fun little tidbits that I took apart from Matt Miyoko, and I'm bringing to you now. But going back to the players, you guys want to know who was good, who was bad, and that's the rules. Is there consistency in what these people are saying, the next person saying? So if Larry said something, did Guy Haberman or did David Lombardi, Grant Cohn, whatever, back that up, right? Matt Miyoko, did they back up that? And that's what I wanted to bring to the table. So that way you get a good idea of like, okay, this guy was good or this guy was bad. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. The good. The best player from what I'm hearing in OTAs. Keep in mind, OTAs are not padded practices. Padded practices are way different. So take that with a grain of salt with what you're hearing here. But it's always good to hear good news. The best player of all of OTAs is wide receiver Jordan Watkins. I'm hearing nothing but excellent things. Everyone has said everything good, has said something good about him. Matt Miyoko, Guy Haberman, Grant Cohn, David Lombardi, and Larry Krueger have all said incredible things. They've all been there. They've all seen it. And I've never been more ecstatic. Jordan Watkins is somebody I believed in since the draft. The dude looks like he's running 49ers wide receiver routes in college. Like if you just put a 49ers jersey on Jordan Watkins, like you would think that you're watching 49ers highlights when you watch his highlights in college and no miss. So Jordan Watkins has been amazing, apparently burning the starters, Lenore, Green, all that. Apparently Jordan Watkins is outstanding. And from what I hear, bar none, the best rookie so far performing. So that's great news, especially considering that some people were concerned about the wide receiver depth. And speaking of wide receiver, next up is Jacob Cowing. I'm hearing excellent things about Jacob Cowing. Jordan Watkins obviously performing better, but the concern with Jacob Cowing is that, like, okay, he didn't have that great of a season last year, his rookie season and his offseason, but he's having an excellent start. He was in the offseason with Brock Purdy practicing with him, and even now it's translating into OTAs. Jacob Cowing has been looking amazing, apparently, catched some really good balls and been very consistent. It's not just like one play here and there. So shout out to Jacob Cowing. Next up is linebacker Nick Martin, the rookie. This is excellent news, especially for a player that, everyone says the 49ers reached for. I said he'd reach for him. Somebody could have gotten the 6th or 7th round, but if it works out, who cares if they reach for him, right? Like, it doesn't matter. If this guy turns out to be a starter for this team year one, then, hey, totally worth it. Totally worth reaching for this player. From what I've heard, he is the third on the depth chart in talent so far when it comes to OTAs. It's Fred, another player I'm going to mention, and then it's Nick Martin. Nick Martin's been flashing all over the place, especially downhill. He had one screen breakup in the flats. Apparently Nick Martin's just been flashing all over the place, and people have just been raving about him all over the place. So Nick Martin, that's great news. Hopefully he can translate it to pads. That'd be good to hear. Next up, you got wide receiver Demarcus Robinson. This guy, he was a backup. He was a depth in LA, right? And I liked him for his red zone ability. I liked him for his Ayuk-esque kind of type ability, but I did not expect him to flash the way that he's flashing right now in OTAs. Like, apparently he's burning Gianni Lenore and Renardo Green. That may sound bad, right? But you got to also give credit to this vet, to this player for performing as well. It's not just because one player got beat that the person who got beat is just trash. Demarcus Robinson has been showing out and looking like the best wide receiver on this roster, at least a 2 or a 3 right now, especially with Ayuk's situation not being around. we need Demarcus Robinson. If Demarcus Robinson's performing right now in the way he's performing, the wide receiver group right now looks promising. And that was one of the biggest concerns heading into this season was like, okay, we got a bunch of question marks. Are these players going to perform? Jordan Watkins, Jacob Cowing, and now Demarcus Robinson, all looking absolutely outstanding. Brock Purdy's throwing dots all over the place, and they're making big plays. And that's something I'm really super excited about. And, yeah, if you guys were concerned about the wide receiver position, if you take OTAs as something valuable or a good sign of things to come, then guess what? Good things are coming. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. Next up, free safety, Richie Grant. Richie Grant, man, apparently had 2 big breakups. Looks absolutely outstanding. They 2 different looks, a cover 2, and then 1 single high safety. He apparently made a couple big plays, one on Ross Dwelly. I can't remember what the other play was, but Richie Grant has been looking outstanding and will probably be, in my opinion, right now he's a front runner to be that free safety across from Jair Brown at strong safety. So if Richie Grant can show up and be good and stuff like that, especially with Marquise Sigel having an injury, won't be back till training camp. Pinnock is a question mark right now. I've heard he had 1 bad practice in a mini camp, but now Richie Grant showed up. Pinnock is still a question mark, but Richie Grant, man, has been he's had two big plays. He looks like he's doing his job. Looks really good out there in OTAs, but we'll see. Like I said, I'm going to say this a lot, but let's see how he looks in pads. But if he's able to go out there and get a couple pass deflections, I think it's a really good sign for the free safety situation, which is a big question mark, right? Next up, you got Juwan Jennings. Now this guy I'm gonna kind of like cross paths with the bad and the good. The good of Juwan Jennings, he performed really well on the first OTAs where everyone could watch practice and stuff like that. Assess it. Juwan Jennings was outstanding. He was performing really well, got behind defenders, stuff like that. He was just crossing it up, dude. He was playing phenomenal. So he had a great OTA. But the bad with that is he did not show up to the second practice where everyone was there. And according Grant Cohn didn't like that, obviously, but it's also other content creators didn't like that either. And that technically qualifies as bad because we don't even know why he was there. And you can speculate all you want, a lot of things. Oh, does he want a new contract? And, whatever you want to go there. So there's good and bad there with Juwan Jennings. He could be injured for all we know. I don't know. But wide receivers look great, though. Wide receivers look great. I mean, at the end of the day. But next up, you got Burford playing left tackle. I heard he looks really good at left tackle right now, way better than he does as a guard. And that's promising because we definitely need a swing tackle. Same thing with Austin Pleasant, someone we picked up last year through the McDonald's drive-thru. And he looks solid. Apparently, it was like a really good backup to the backup of swing tackle, and Burford's most likely have that swing tackle position. And Burford looks good there. Next up, you got cornerback Derek Canteen. This guy is a six-year player, I believe, out of college. It's an unlikely story coming from this guy, but he had one. I believe he had an interception. He's looking outstanding out there. Larry absolutely loves him, and a few other content creators also agreed that Canteen looked great out there. He did a lot more than just one big play, right? And I haven't mentioned this yet, but there's some players out there that did one good thing. I'm not counting those. I want to know, did a player look good throughout OTAs? Did he make multiple big plays? Canteen, I've only heard made one big play, but looked good for the most part throughout the OTAs, and everyone mentioned that. So I have to give a shout out to Derek Canteen, and he may actually make this roster, even though he's on the outside looking in. This one's a bit of controversy, which is running back Christian McCaffrey. A lot of people say he looks good, right? Especially considering what injury he had. He looks good. He looks practicing. He's not going full speed or anything like that, right? Everyone's saying he's good. From Larry Krueger, Dave Lombardi, of course. Guy Haberman says he looks good. Matt Miyoko says he looks good. But the only person that said he looks bad right now is Grant Cohn. But if one person says it, then it doesn't qualify for bad for me. But CMC, it's very promising to hear that there's some good coming from CMC and that he looks like he normally does when he practices. Next up is D. Winters, linebacker. Apparently, D. Winters has that second linebacker spot locked down. Just like Jordan Watkins is probably the all-star of OTAs, D. Winters on defense is the all-star. Apparently, everyone's saying that he's the most shining star, probably gets number 1 or the number 2 star in training camp if there were to give players stars. D. Winters looks absolutely outstanding. He's definitely taken a step forward compared to last year, which is super promising because Nick Martin, right, he's balling out. He's looked absolutely amazing. But you need more than that. You need more depth at that linebacker spot. And it's really good to see that D. Winters is taking a step forward and most likely will give comfort to 49ers fans heading into the season that, hey, D. Winters is looking really good. Nick Martin's looking good. You got Fred Warner. Bethune, I've heard, is doing better. Didn't make this list, but just the fact that your fourth guy is still looking kind of good as well, that your top three dudes are looking pretty solid right now, that's a really good sign because that second linebacker spot was very, very questionable. And not now. It's all looking really good. Next up, you got quarterback Brock Purdy. Everyone's saying he looks absolutely amazing. This guy's throwing dots all over the field. He looks outstanding. Brock Purdy, I've heard nothing but great things. He had one interception to Trey Brown. Apparently the whistle, from what I've seen, it didn't really count as interception because the whistle was blown, but he threw it away anyway. And when he threw it away, it was kind of like a lazy attempt, as it was described as, and Trey Brown picked it off. So you take that for what it's worth, but the play was technically done when he threw that pick. But outside of that, like, Brock Purdy's been throwing dots all over the field, playing absolutely amazing. That's what you love to hear, especially after a player who signs a thick contract. Okay, when you sign a thick contract, you want a player to perform in OTAs. And I've heard nothing but great things about Brock Purdy on the field and even off the field. I guess technically on the field. I don't know why I said off field, but like he's taking a leadership role to the next step. And Matt Miyoko described it as, from George Kittle, that he's taking a leadership role naturally. It doesn't seem forced. It seemed like he truly believes that Brock Purdy truly believes that this is his team, and he's controlling it like as if it's his team. Brock Purdy is looking absolutely outstanding, and that's something I love to hear, even from Grant Cohn. Even Grant Cohn, who, if Brock Purdy did anything bad, jumps right over it. Even Grant Cohn is showing love to Brock Purdy, saying he looks really amazing. If he said anything else other times, I didn't see it in his videos. He spoke highly of Brock Purdy, except for that one interception situation. But outside that, I've heard Brock Purdy's doing really well. Next up, cornerback Upton Stout. This was mainly from Grant Cohn saying Upton Stout looks amazing because he didn't do anything bad, but he also looks good. And when you're a rookie and you don't do anything bad, that's a good thing. That's a great thing. And Larry Krueger and a couple other people said some like passerby comments about Upton Stout saying, oh, he looks good. Blah, blah, blah. But if you're a rookie like that and you might possibly be a starter week one and the other slot corners aren't performing, aren't doing their thing, this is a good thing and I think deserves to be on this list. If Upton Stout can, if he can stay away from being on the bad list while being a rookie and getting zero targets towards him and, not being tested or, making plays because he has good coverage, I think that counts as good, even if like a couple passerby comments, and Grant Cohn showing some love to the guy Upton Stout, I think he deserves to be on this list. That's a good thing to hear about Upton Stout. So the cornerback position, couple of question marks there, but like Upton Stout and Derek Canteen have apparently looked absolutely solid because that third cornerback spot is really, really questionable. And so far, those two players have been those two corners have probably been talked about the most, hyped up the most from what I've seen. Next up is left tackle Trent Williams. He did not participate, but everyone's saying he looks freaking amazing. Everyone's saying like it's not just like, oh, I'm in the best shape of my life. That's what Trent Williams is. No, people are watching him are like, wow, this guy looks crazy good. Way more than before. Like in the other off seasons, he looks great. No, people are saying he looks rejuvenated. Like he looks alive. He's just destroying the one-on-ones. He's destroying those other practices they're doing, not the 7-on-7s and 9-on-9s kind of type thing, but he's apparently just really performing, and he just looks really good. Practically a few years younger than he actually is. And so that's a good sign for Trent Williams, man, because he usually gets hurt, and you kind of saw a little he kind of digressed last year. So that's kind of good. That's a great thing to hear, and I think that deserves to be on the good list for Trent Williams. Now, next up, the bad. And there's not that many bad. Really, there's really not that much bad, and that's always a great thing. This is probably the best offseason ever. I remember the years prior, man, there'd always be something bad, like a huge list of this guy was terrible, blah, 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 blah. So let's go ahead and jump to it. Number one, Mac Jones. I've heard Mac Jones was super inaccurate. Like, he was absolutely atrocious. He had 1 or 2 good plays, but for the most part, he was just absolutely bad. Grant Cohn called him the Jimmy Garoppolo of welcome back, Jimmy Garoppolo, because we all know Jimmy Garoppolo was terrible in practice. But yeah, Mac Jones has looked pretty bad apparently. He had a good mini camp, but he's having a terrible OTAs. That could change, man. It could go mandatory mini camp, fantastic training camp, whatever. But in terms of OTAs, Mac Jones has looked terrible. Next up is Bernardo Green, good and bad. I've heard he was bad from Grant Cohn, and I've also heard someone else said, like, okay, it's bad because he got beat a couple times. But I've also heard from Guy Haberman and I believe Matt Miyoko, or is it Larry? I can't remember who said it. Said that Bernardo Green has been battling. Like, it's more of a battle than it was like him getting burnt or looks bad. Like, it's tight coverage. It's just great throws from Brock Purdy, and that's what's making him lose. So take that for what it's worth. Some are saying like he looks bad. Some are saying, well, it was just really tight. You know, it was just a good throw, good play by the player. And so that's like a good or bad thing. And it is also sophomore. So the sophomore slump could be coming in, but hopefully not. But Ronaldo Green, from what I heard, was good and bad. And I didn't want to put him in the good spot. I kind of put him in the bad spot, you know, but I've heard good and bad things from him. Next up is Ricky Pearsall. Injury is the reason why he's on this list. It's really nothing more to that. Like, a couple content creators put him on the bad list because he's not there. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll put him on the bad list because he's not there, and that's something you do want him to be there. Especially expect him to take a step forward, possibly the 1 or 2 guy, you know, on the team. So I guess that is technically a bad thing in terms of OTAs, but that could change when he comes back in training camp, where he could just dominate training camp and be amazing. But in terms of OTAs, that's just a bad thing or whatever. Next up, we talked about Juwan Jennings already not being there, so him not being there is a bad thing. So we already mentioned that. We talked about it. Last but not least is definitely Junior Bergen. Junior Bergen has the record, I believe FCS, I believe, record of punt returns, kick returns. He had a shit ton of those. He's doing phenomenal there. But as a drafted guy in the 7th round, last pick for the 49ers, he's bobbling balls, and that's not good. And that could change in mandatory minicamp, like I said, and it could change in training camp. But in terms of OTAs, that's bad. He just keeps bobbling balls. He can't handle them. And that's like his whole job is job security first. When you're a kick returner, punt returner, your job is job security first, 110%. And in minicamp and in OTAs, it's transitioned from because in minicamp, he was also doing that. So it's transitioning from minicamp to OTAs, him bobbling his balls. That's not a good sign. And if he doesn't get his stuff together by mandatory minicamp, by training camp, preseason, this guy might not make the roster, despite the high hopes that a lot of fans had for this guy. And so Junior Bergen has got to be on the bad list until he can stop, bobbling these balls and just, job security, number one thing for as a kick return, punt returner. He's got to lock that down, which he can do. But in terms of OTAs, it's bad. Next up, you got stories around the 49ers that I got from Matt Miyoko that I think you guys want to hear. But before I get into that, the players that were good, just to go down the list, Jordan Watkins, best player there, Jacob Cowing, wide receiver DeMarcus Robinson looks really good as well. So those are your 3 good players. Juwan Jennings, of course, had that one really good first day training camp. So wide receivers are looking promising. Linebackers, Nick Martin and D. Winters look phenomenal, where to the sense of like you could be reassured that the linebacker situation is in good hands. So that's a good situation there. Tackle situation, Burford and Pleasance, I've heard are really good swing tackles, are really doing outstanding. Most likely will make the team. So if you're concerned about the swing tackle position, it's looking good in terms of OTAs. Next up, free safety. That was a big question mark. Who's going to be that guy? Richie Grant looks like he's stealing that job. He's looking phenomenal right now in OTAs. If he transitions to mandatory minicamp, training camp, he'll most likely be the week 1 starter across from Jair Brown until Malik Mustafa comes back. Then we don't know what's going to happen to free safety position there. Next up, you got running back. The only running back that I thought really stood out or like people talked about a lot was just CMC. Heard some good things about Jordan James from one person, that's about it, but it wasn't like enough to say he did good. But CMC, that could have just been because, everyone wants to know what CMC is doing, but I've heard good things about CMC, that he looks great, and that's always a good thing. It should be on the good list. Next up is quarterback Brock Purdy. There was a concern, man. Like, he got paid, so can he do it? He's looks like he's doing it and more. Like, he's apparently looks like he's taking a step forward in his talent and leadership, and that's what you love to see after a guy you just paid franchise money. Cornerback, that third spot, like I said earlier, was a big question mark. But Upton Stout and Derek Canteen look like they're potentially might make this roster based on how they're playing. I know Avery did some good things, but not enough. Trey Brown has looked bad. I think a couple other corners did some good things. But the ones that popped off the most, it seems, based on conversation, was Derek Canteen and Upton Stout. So that third cornerback spot looks like it's going to be one of those guys, and the fourth guy is probably Derek Canteen. This one. Oh, I forgot to mention a guy. Oh, my God. I totally forgot to mention a guy. Luter Jr. looks really good, too, as well. Apparently, he's doing outstanding. It's kind of like Upton Stout in that sense, where he's locking down people, not getting any targets, not doing anything crazy, not doing anything bad, but doing anything good, kind of like Upton Stout. Luter Jr. looks like he's taking a step forward. That's another corner. So those are your 5 corners so far of Renato Green, Lenore, Upton Stout, Derek Canteen, and I literally just said Luter Jr. Those are your 5 corners that look like they're going to make the roster. So those are the good, the bad. Mac Jones, Renato Green, good or bad, take it how you want to. Ricky Pearsall, take that as you want to, just because of the injury. Juwan Jennings, because he didn't show up and no one knows why. And then Junior Burgeon, of course, because of the bobble balls. So it's a short list. We can take it. So that is the overall OTA situation from the good, the bad, from Larry Krueger, Dave Lombardi, Grant Cohn, Matt Maiocco, and Guy Haberman. If I didn't mention a guy, it's because you didn't hear anything good or you didn't hear anything significantly bad about a player. Some players made some good plays, like not some good, but like one good play. Like Braden Willis made one good play, but it wasn't consistent. Avery made a good play, but it wasn't consistent. You didn't hear his name consistently. So like there's some good honorable mention type players out there, but they weren't consistent where they need to be mentioned in the good and bad situation. So if a player didn't get mentioned, take that as a good thing, right? Take that as a good thing if a player was not mentioned. All right, so let me know what you guys think of who you're most hyped for, who are you most disappointed with. Are you guys looking forward to mandatory minicamp, training camp? Is there some players like, okay, it's just OTAs. I know those guys will be better in mandatory minicamp and training camp and stuff like that. Let me know what you guys think of these players. The players that I'm excited about the most are Jordan Watkins, from what I'm seeing, and Nick Martin. Those are the two that I cannot wait to see more of, because just based on how they're being raved and what they're doing and my expectations, right? They're really blowing those out of the water from what I'm seeing. So let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear it. And as always, hit that like button, because I cannot do this without you guys. You guys make this channel what it is. If you disagree with what I say, please still hit that like button, because it still supports me. And like I always say, man, you could disagree with me, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell me, how dare you disagree with me? How dare you tell I'm wrong? At the end of the day, it's all opinions. It's all what we see and what we believe. And I believe you should be able to have the right to disagree with me on things, and also agree with me. I kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie. But, like I said, anyway, you guys make this channel what it is. So help me out, help me grow. Every single one of you guys is important to me. So thank you guys so much. All love in the world. Thank you guys, Wolfpack. Hit that like button, because every single like makes my 49ers heart grow from here to here. All love, fam. I'll see you next video. Bang, bang, 90 gang, baby.